So what are we dealing with here? Shakespeare in the Park? Doth mother know you weareth her drapes? Hey everyone, and welcome to August's TBR Assemble. If you don't know what that is, I'll leave a link up above to my original video where I explain it, but essentially Thanos is coming and I need to collect the Avengers and the Infinity Stones, aka books, to stop him. And with that, let's get into the roles. So today we're going to be starting with the Doctor Strange, but then I'm going to be swapping little thing every single role because it's What If month and why not, essentially. So we're starting with Doctor Strange, and role number 1 is a 1, and I'm going to start easy with fanfiction Soul Stone. Then I'm going to swap him out for Wanda. Role 2 is a 6, so there. That is Daisy Johnson, an ebook for 1 point. So my first role that I can actually tell you what I'm going to be reading was Daisy, which is to read an ebook, and for this I'm going to be going for volume 5 of Tokyo Ghoul. Now this is obviously a horror manga that I've been reading recently, and it's just come through on my library and I cannot wait to read this one. It's a very sort of horror gory manga. It's definitely not my favourite, but I have been really enjoying it either way, so I cannot wait to continue it. I'm going to swap Wanda out for Valkyrie. Roll 3 is another 6, funny enough, so I'm going to pick this one, and that is Wanda, actually, and that's another ebook for 2 points. Prompt number 2 was Wanda, which was to read an ebook as well, and for this I'm going to be going for Operation Sin, which is a comic based all around Agent Peggy Carter, who is one of my all-time favourite Marvel characters, and with What If coming out this month and there's going to be an episode based entirely around Peggy herself, I decided that it's probably time to read this comic. Though I will admit I may swap this out, it just depends on when her episode specifically airs, but at the moment that is the plan. If not, I will swap it out for another character's ebook comic instead, but at the moment Peggy is my goal for this, and I cannot wait to see her episode, and I cannot wait to finally read a comic all about Peggy. Now I'm going to swap Valkyrie out for Loki. Roll 4 is a 4, so just going to dig in, and I'm going to pick this one out of the mess. And that is Thor, myth-based for 2 points. Role number 3 was Thor, a myth-based book, and for this I'm going to be finally reading Silvia Moreno Garcia's Gods of Jade and Shadow, which deals with the Mayan god of death. Now, I know basically nothing else about this book, quite frankly. All I've heard is really everyone raving about this author and obviously about this book, so I cannot wait to jump into it and see what all the hype's about. I've now lost track of if I've used Loki, but just in case I'm going to be swapping him out for T'Challa, so 5th roll is another 3, so I'm going to pick this one, and that is Ironheart, a person of colour, main character or author for 3 points. Role number 4 was Ironheart, and that was to read a book by a POC author or a book with a POC as the main character, and for this I'm going to be going for The Silvered Serpents. Now obviously this is the 2nd book in the Gilded Wolf series. I was supposed to read this in July, but I am pushing it back into August because it turns out the 3rd book in this series is out in September, so I figured I may just try to marathon both books. I'm not sure yet, I'll see how I feel, but I decided to push it back, and I am now really excited to read this book. I've heard, again, many good things about it. I did reasonably enjoy the first one. The only problem was that both times I tried to read it last year, I was interrupted every 5 minutes, so I'm hoping I have a smoother sailing time with Silvered Serpents, but either way I am very excited to read this one and give it a go. Then the final role is going to be with Natasha, so final roll is a 4, so I'm gonna dig in a little, grab that one, and that is, oh no, that's a snap. I can tell that now. Snap, give a DNF a second chance. Oh no. And then my final prompt was a snap, which is fun because I really was scared of the snaps because I haven't had any so far, so I was worried about that. But this one is give a DNF a second chance, and for this I'm going to be going for Age of Apocalypse, because with Age of Apocalypse I have DNF'd the series because I read Legion Quest a couple of years ago now and really didn't enjoy it, quite frankly. It was supposed to be about Legion. Legion is in the title, Legion's on the front cover. Legion himself turned up in the last 10% of the book, and I was just like, why? And the rest of it was seemingly unconnected stories that did slowly sort of build up into one big story. But quite frankly, I just wanted to see Legion going back in time and accidentally killing Charles when he was meant to be killing Eric, because he thought if he killed Eric, Charles would have an easier life. But obviously that didn't happen, and now I'm going to be reading Age of Apocalypse, which is the actual storyline of what happens after that, where essentially Apocalypse himself has come down to Earth 10 years earlier than he was originally in the original timeline, and he's taken over the world essentially because Charles wasn't there to stop him. And I am excited for this. I've got to admit the artwork was not my favourite, but I'm hoping this series redeems itself after Legion Quest, because I did not enjoy Legion Quest, so I'm hoping this one's better. And that is the end of the rolls, but that does not mean it is the end of my TBR, because obviously I have a ton of other books I also want to read in terms of read-alongs and Avengers Reading Challenge books, and then I also have a whole load of comics I've also got listed down in terms of what I want to read around What If. So I'm just going to get on with it, because otherwise I'm going to talk myself out of this TBR, and that's no fun. First one I've got to mention is The Midnight Library. Now this one is obviously the Avengers Reading Challenge book, and it's about someone who's died, I think, and is now in a place called the Midnight Library and is seeing different versions of their life, I think. I don't know. I really don't know. I have heard mixed things about this book, to say the least, but because I am a completionist for the Avengers Reading Challenge and I want all of the extra items and all the powers and all the rest of it, I am going to be reading this via audiobook, and I'm hoping I can blast through it reasonably quickly, so we'll see what happens there. I've then also obviously got the Dead Famous read-along books, so that is going to be Kingdom of the Wicked. This is book 7 in the Skullduggery series, and this one is focusing on obviously like the fallout from the previous book, Lord Vile, Darkest, all the rest of it, and also a character called Argedian. Now admittedly this is not my favourite book of the series. I do find it slightly annoying in places in terms of the villain, but I am still very excited to read it and just sort of get past this point, because then I am onto books I've only ever read once, so cannot wait for that. And then I've also got Tanith Lowe in the Maleficent 7, which is focusing obviously on Tanith now that she has been taken over by a remnant and exactly what she's up to. I did read this for the first time last year, so I cannot wait to continue it. And thinking about it, I've also got Armageddon out of here. Obviously I'm not going to try and read the rest of this book, I'm just going to be reading the short stories that are based around these two books, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't know how many I've got. I think there's only 1 or 2. There's 3. I should have known that. Actually, no, because there's 5. There's 5. Okay, there's 5 short stories. So actually, am I finishing this book this month? I am finishing this book this month. I lied. Anyway, I'll be finishing this one as well, so there's going to be a lot of Skullduggery reading this month. Exciting times, cannot wait. And then everything else is comics, and they're all What If based, or at least comics I think I'm going to be reading around the time each episode comes out in What If. But first of all, I'm going to be mentioning the specific comics, which are What If comics. And What If is essentially a series where Marvel asks the question, what if one thing changed? And they explore that idea. In terms of which ones I'll be reading though, I don't particularly know, because I don't know which ones are going to be on sale or whatever, but the ones I do own that I will definitely be reading is Civil War, Age of Ultron, Secret Invasion, Dark Avengers and AVX, because I already own those and I've already read the events to do with them, so I can just read these ones because I have the prior knowledge, so I know what they mean with what if this thing changed. And I'm very excited and I cannot wait to see what else is going to be available, and I'm just excited. It's What If. I'm very excited. Another one I will definitely be reading is the Marvel Zombies series. Now, I've got volume 1 on Kindle and volume 2 in physical format. That's this one. And I will definitely be reading these because What If is actually going to be covering zombies as well, on top of, obviously, what if scenarios as well. So I cannot wait to read these ones. I have originally read the first one and wasn't that impressed, but I'm hoping that when I read them with the context of the TV show, I'm going to enjoy them a lot more. Either way, Marvel Zombies, and essentially everyone dies. Literally, as you can see, everyone becomes a zombie, so I'm very excited to see where this one goes, quite frankly. The first one literally opened with Magneto being eaten by zombies, so I'm excited to see where this one goes and exactly how much they're gonna scare me with my favourite characters dying. So very excited, if a little nervous. And then everything else is going to be comics that I think I'm going to want to read around the time because it's focusing on certain characters. So the first one is going to be Agent of Asgard, which is obviously a Loki series, and I was going to read this when Loki was airing. I ran out of time and decided to save it for now. I do know that there is going to be a Loki episode, so I'm definitely going to be wanting to read that then. I've then also got the Winter Soldier Complete Collection. This one is obviously all about Bucky and also features Natasha as well, and I'm probably going to be wanting to read this one around the time that Bucky fights Zombie Steve. This is all I really know. I don't know the exact storyline there, but probably Marvel Zombies week will also be the week of the Winter Soldier Complete Collection, quite frankly. So cannot wait to read this one. I was meant to read it for Falcon and the Winter Soldier and then also Black Widow, then didn't, so very excited to get to this one. And then after that there's only 2 other things I've got to mention, and both of them are mangas. So the first one is Demon Slayer Volume 2. I was not the biggest fan of the first one, I've got to admit, but I did want to give the second volume a chance as well, just to see if it was just first book problems or something, I don't know, but I'm willing to give the second one a try. And then the other one is Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. I am so sorry if I am. But this one I'm pretty sure is some sort of high school horror manga. There's something to do with a really popular kid in the occult class, if I remember rightly. And I literally just saw occult. I went, yeah, okay, I'm going to read that because I'm in that kind of spooky mood with like skullduggery and Marvel Zombies and all the rest of it. So that is going to be the plan. Both of them are currently in my library hold, so I may as well read them in August. With that, that is actually the end of the TBR, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me what you're reading this month. I'd love to know. I'll also leave a link down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!